And we're live.
And we are live. Welcome to day number 4 of Qi Discovery Week. My name is Chris Shelton.
And I'm Parisa Shelton.
And today is enrollment. We're having open enrollment for the Qi Club, and we only open up enrollment a couple of times of the year, and we'll get into that more later on. But if you're just joining us, welcome. And if you've been joining us all week, thank you so much for your participation, all your excitement, your feedback, all your questions. So many people have shared these links.
It's been so inspiring, and from all around the world, from California to Australia to England.
By the way, that comment from Australia last night, that was very touching, and I'm very thankful that I get to explain Qigong in a way that people can understand how it applies to acupuncture in Chinese medicine. And once again, Qigong is actually the foundation of acupuncture in classical Chinese medicine. So being able to explain how the body functions and why these ancient practices are so profound as far as your health and your overall well-being.
It's incredible. It's such an opportunity for ourselves and for society at large. It's really amazing.
Yeah, so we'd like to share this gift with you, and this is a great opportunity for you to really take advantage of this opportunity and tap into these ancient practices that are so simple to do. Anybody could do them. You could do them from a seated position, excuse me, you could do it from a standing position. Even some of the practices you could do from a lying down position. But, you know, I've had patients throughout the years, let's say they've come to me with lupus, for example. They were too weak to even lift their arms, but by visualizing the practices, they were able to still receive benefit and change the process of that inflammatory disease.
And then with regular practice, eventually they are able to move the arms, right?
Yes, eventually you'll be surprised as to what you could do. So what Qigong really does is it gets us into our bodies. Number one, there's a mindfulness component of it. So this mindfulness gets us out of our head and back into our body. Then there is an active component of it for which we are creating some kind of change. The style of Qigong that we're teaching here is based upon the 5-element school. And the 5-element school in classical Chinese medicine is one methodology in order to diagnose or assess a situation. Each of us is a typology, is an element type. So whether we're fire, wood, metal, earth, water, you know, we are a primary typology or a combination of typologies and a deficiency as well too. Whatever our primary typology is it's when we deviate from that typology that starts to indicate disease. But also, what is our deficiency? What is our weakest typology? I gave the example of when I had a broken heart, how my heart...
deficient fire.
I was very deficient in fire. And then by making gentle feng shui adjustments in my environment, I was able to draw in more fire people.
And heal your heart.
And heal my heart.
Oh, and as a side note, if you were curious which element type you are and you're not aware yet, you can go to our website, sheltonqigong.com, and on the homepage there is your downloadable questionnaire that takes about 20 minutes, but you just click on the button, put your email, and it'll send you out the quiz, and you can figure that out.
So before we jump into a very simple mindfulness practice, I want to just introduce myself again. My name is Chris Shelton, and for those of you that are brand new to the Qi Discovery Week, I've been practicing these ancient arts of Tai Chi and Qigong in Chinese medicine for over 30 years now. I used to compete with Tai Chi in tournaments as a martial art as well too. Most people don't know or realize that Tai Chi, especially classical Tai Chi from the Chen family, is a martial art. I see patients in clinic. We teach a number of group classes, and we are clinical directors for the Special Olympics for California for a program called Healthy Athletes, Strong Minds. We also have, besides having the Qi Club, we also have a Qigong teacher training course.
We do, yes.
A level 1 and level 2 that's interactive. So if you want more information on that, please... excuse the dog here, but if you want more information on the Qigong teacher training, then you know, please put the info or your questions into the chat there, and so we can answer that. We also teach for the HHS,
Health and
Hospital Systems.
Yeah.
We had a huge contract for many years with the Employee Wellness Department, where we were in charge of the 23,000 employees for employee wellness, where we go into like the county supervisor's office. I give talks to trauma nurses and doctors on disease prevention. I go into the jails, sheriff's department, CPS, and give talks on disease prevention, and how burnout is, especially in Silicon Valley and the San Francisco Bay Area, is probably one of the leading causes of disease up there, because it's go, 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 and it's so expensive up there.
Most of our work with the county was for stress relief primarily.
Stress relief. And then also what we did too is that Priest and myself would teach weekly classes, but we have a whole staff of teacher trainers that go out and teach for various departments as well too. So it's been quite a journey being able to serve so many people.
It's amazing. And ultimately, our little elevator pitch is that we are here to empower natural remedy seekers to relieve pain, reduce stress, and ultimately access higher levels of well-being.
Yeah, I think you just hit it on the head. I think that anybody that comes to our YouTube channel, who's watching YouTube live right now, already is seeking something more. Like maybe their regular health regimen isn't up to par. They have chronic aches and pains or inflammation or some kind of like dietary or digestive issues, migraines, sleep issues.
Not getting the answers that you're really looking for, and looking for natural remedies or alternatives, then this is a great solution.
Yeah, so if you're here, that means that you are already on the path, and we are here to support that path. And the other cool thing about what it is that we do is that it's not only that we teach the practice of Qigong, we also empower you to understand what you are doing medicinally inside your body. We're also giving you tools to deal with your mental, emotional health, because one of the leading causes of death and disease and inflammation inside the body is emotional stress and trauma, and how that shows up as many different types of diseases. We also, on our YouTube channel, give out weekly videos on some health-related topic. I have one book published right now, Qigong Total Health with the 5 Elements.
Qigong for self-refinement.
For self-refinement. And my second book on how to fix back issues will be coming out here in 2022. And that's been a work for the last several years now. And thank God it's finally in the line editor's hands. We hired a publishing company. And so that book is I'm really excited about that, because that book is really going to empower so many people, because of all the diseases that I see in clinic. Of all the diseases, back issues
is the number one.
Yeah, back issues are number one. And back in the 70s when I was a kid, back issues only happened to couch potatoes or people that were obese. Nowadays, it doesn't matter if you're young or old, if you're a professional athlete or not, if you are a couch potato or not. People are suffering. And what I realized is that, one of the trips coming back from Skokie, Illinois, we were flying out, our friend Lisa Levine from the TV show Celebrity Sweat was flying us out. And I was seeing these young basketball stars that were being diagnosed with conditions like lumbar stenosis. And here they are, these young basketball stars that have a chance to go to college and maybe go on to play professional ball. Doctors were telling them, you have lumbar stenosis, your basketball career is over. And, I'll have these basketball players up and running within 15 minutes. And it's not magical. It's understanding how the body functions. And one of the times when we were flying back from Skokie,
you had an epiphany?
I had an epiphany, like, why is it that so many people are suffering, and especially young people.
I know, athletic, fit people.
Right, okay. The thing that was supposed to prevent you from having back problems. Right. And then it finally dawned on me that, we talked about this a couple of days ago, that sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the fight or flight mechanism inside of our body. When God first developed our bodies, that sympathetic nervous system was to let us know if we were in danger. So if we were being chased by a bear, our house was on fire, it allows for us to have the proper
response. So get out of Dodge.
To get out of Dodge. But nowadays, what I realize is that sympathetic nervous system doesn't know the difference between being chased by a bear, your house being on fire, or running late for an appointment.
Oh, shoot.
Or let's say in these college athlete cases, maybe getting into the university that they wanted to get.
Right,
so
getting on the team, just the
applications, loans, student loans, all that kind of stuff. So the sympathetic nervous system doesn't know the difference. All it knows is that it's in fight mode. And guess where it gets stored for a lot of people? Right here in the psoas muscle, which controls the lower lumbar all the way up to our thoracic spine. So this muscle is major. In fact, in clinic, sometimes when I see people that will come into clinic, especially in the Bay Area there, let's say that were veterans that come back from the Middle East, they're fighting the war that nobody is talking about. And I'd hit these points on the gallbladder meridian in the front and the groin here, and I'll have an immediate emotional release, because guess where people hold their PTSD? Right here in this darn psoas, and it's spelled PSOAS. And Liz Koch, I talked about this a couple days ago. One of my mentors happened to pop up here on the YouTube live, Dr. Nancy Bergman, and Dr. Nancy Bergman had turned me on to Liz Koch, which I believe is the queen of the psoas. I studied her work years ago.
She has a book called The Psoas.
The psoas.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that she talks about how much the psoas actually controls, and also PTSD. She actually suggests that it has a spiritual component. She talks about mostly addressing women, a lot of women issues, menstrual issues and such, as a result of the psoas being out of balance. So it's a very, very in-depth and important book, So anyway, so the great thing about Qigong is that it can help you with your PTSD if you have PTSD. Now, PTSD isn't only being a first responder or a veteran. PTSD could be something like growing up in an abusive home.
Yeah.
PTSD could be surviving verbal abuse or neglect. So let's say you're in a marriage or a relationship where there's some type of abuse. Well, guess what? It has to go somewhere. And a lot of times the psoas muscle here, this is our protection muscle, because if you think about it, if somebody was attacking you, this is the muscle that allows you to curl up into a ball right away, right?
Yeah.
You don't do a back bend.
No, you protect the front.
You protect the delicate organs in the front.
That's true.
So this is why when people have back problems, why yes, their back hurts, but they walk kind of hunched over. It's because everything is so tight here.
It like pulls down.
In the front.
And it connects the torso to the thigh.
Correct.
And it's thick as the fist.
About the size of your fist, yeah. It's deep in the body there. There's another part of it that attaches to the diaphragm, controls the diaphragm.
Right up here.
There's smaller muscles of the psoas that actually hold the internal organs in place.
Wow.
So, I mean, this thing is major. So anyways, I kind of got
a little
sidetracked there, but I'm just talking about, the second book here and how it's going to really help millions of people around the world, and that's what I'm so excited about. So with that said,
well, let's just real quick go to the chats. I want to say hi to Salam Chicago.
Chicago. So Skokie.
Yep. Good morning, Barbara Love in Los Angeles. Megan, hello.
Hi, Megan.
Peachy Pie, nice to see you. And Timothy Chi-Clubber. In New York, upstate New York.
Upstate New York,
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And that's what I love about this, is that we're able to touch and connect people from around the world. And so it's such an honor and such a great privilege to be able to do what we do for a living. And that's
really is.
And that's what's really funny is, we have 4 kids, and the oldest is 28. And years ago, I'd come back from the office, and even if I was working a 12 or a 14-hour day, I might be tired, from seeing so many clients. But I love my job. I love my life purpose, right?
Right.
And so the kids would say,
vocation.
My vocation. So the kids would say to me, like, Dad, how was work today? And I would have to pause and think about it, like, because it's not work. Like, like I don't wake up. I didn't wake up today saying, "Oh well, darn it, I have to teach a Qi club this morning," or I after today's YouTube live, I have back-to-back patients this afternoon. It's such a privilege to be able to serve so many people. So So yeah, finding your vocation also. What is your purpose? And your life purpose.
And Qigong can actually help guide you towards more balance inside your body, so that you can access that purpose if you haven't yet found it.
Okay,
let's close our eyes.
Let's go ahead and just close our eyes for a second. I want us to focus on the breath, and I want the breath to be long, steady, even and deep through the nose, into the lower abdomen, in particular about 1 inch below the belly button. The tip of the tongue is gently curled to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, as if saying the letter N. You feel the breath expand like a balloon, front, back, left, right, all directions. And as you exhale, you feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed. And as we focus on the breath, I want you to set an intention. Set the intention of what seeds do you hope to plant to improve your health. Can you visualize yourself from planting these seeds? What you will feel like in 3 months, a month, 2 weeks from now. Or maybe what you may feel like, how much more energy you'll have, how much better sleep you'll have. In planting those seeds, just like in the parable, no matter how small the seed is, sometimes the smallest seed, like a mustard seed, so tiny, but yet its branches grow so high and wide. So what kind of seeds can you sow today that, no matter how small, that will bring you into the best version of yourself that you could possibly be? What does that look like? What does that feel like? Visualize yourself happy, healthy. Any chronic pain inside the body is diminished. You notice that your immune health is stronger, that you don't catch colds or flus. You may notice that seasonal allergies have gone away, or stomach upset, or intestinal issues have gone away. You may be currently dealing with a little bit of depression or anxiety. And what would that feel like if that was gone? All of a sudden that realization, like, wow, I'm no longer anxious. I'm happy. I'm vibrant. I'm full of life. What would that feel like to you? Now I ask you, what action steps can you take today to plant those seeds? Maybe you could stop eating or drinking something that creates harm for your body. Maybe taking a separation or putting a boundary on a toxic relationship that also creates inflammation and disease. Taking a conscious effort to go on a brisk walk every day, to increase more room temperature water. And if you're somebody that needs to lose a few pounds, maybe we have a food curfew, cutting off not eating after 7 p.m. And we take advantage of joining a Qi Club community with like-minded people from around the world. Whose goal is to further refine themselves, improve their physical well-being, their mental, emotional well-being. So I want you to visualize what that would be like. And by visualizing it, you're now planting the seed. And then from here, we're going to come back to the present. We're going to open up the eyes, pulling down the heavens. One time, inhale.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And
Yeah.
it's interesting that you brought up anxiety, because actually on Monday, we're going to be sharing a testimonial from Trish Fay.
Oh, Trish Fay, yes.
And before she started joining our classes, she had crippling anxiety. She could barely leave the house. She was just really sick. Her body was in so much pain. And she did multiple things. She went to therapy. She was going to her doctors, but it was really when she started incorporating the Qigong into her life that she was able to get a grasp on the anxiety in order to clear those feelings and come into more balance, more alignment. And now she's a teacher.
Yeah,
she's a Qigong teacher. So
yeah,
it's quite an incredible story. So we'll be sharing that on Monday.
Yeah, she also used to suffer from extreme chemical sensitivities, which have pretty much resolved themselves. So once again, she saw the benefit by showing up to a class at Don Edwards, right?
Center for
Spiritual Living in San Jose, where we're teaching live Qigong classes, and she saw and felt the benefit from one class. Wow. And continued with the practice, and then she was able to, like Parisa said, not only help with the anxiety disorder, but also the chemical sensitivities that she was having and the chronic pain that she was having throughout her body. And she actually is graduated from a teacher training course. She finished level 2, and now she is teaching her own live in-person Qigong classes.
Live and online. She's really
at the,
getting herself out there. Hoku Gardens in Saratoga.
Yeah, Hoku Gardens in Saratoga, which is beautiful. So
I just wanted to share one thing because Solomon, Chicago, he said, I shared your link with the Chicago Teachers Union page.
Oh.
I hope teachers will do this over their lunch break.
Oh,
so do we.
Thank
you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much for sharing. We have a couple of teachers that are on the Qi Club that are also Qigong teacher trainers. And actually one of Jen Primer, Primer. Jen Primer is a teacher here, well, actually in the San Francisco Bay Area. And she's also a PE teacher, and she's been
doing it at their town hall meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays with all the teenagers.
So
funny. And we had Megan who tuned in as a result of Shayna sharing the link.
Oh, I think, awesome. So thank you so much.
We love Chicago.
We love Chicago. So yes, please, teachers need this. I mean, oh my gosh, what you guys go through.
Oh my goodness.
Our
heart goes out to you.
Handle our kids. Oh, like you guys don't get enough credit.
Yes, yeah.
But something as simple as pulling down the heavens, for example, if you have somebody with attention deficit disorder, you'll be surprised because we go into the elementary schools and the high schools.
Cute.
And we give demonstrations, and especially in the first I'm going to say the high schools, you'll see that kids that have traumatic homes, they're the ones that tap into the practices the most.
Yeah.
Right? Because it gives them a tool to be able to process
what's going on.
But more than once have we
gone to the elementary school. I'm remembering the kids on the field trip
at Miss Coleman's class.
Yeah, when they said, "Let's pull down the heavens," like Mr. Shelton said.
Yeah, there was I taught a Qigong class for this second grade class, and fast forward to 2 weeks later, what had happened was that the class was going to the San Jose Art Museum in downtown San Jose. And the kids were starting to get rowdy, and this one little girl, the teacher said, who was kind of like the leader of the class, she took control, and she said, when she saw everybody getting rowdy like that, she said, let's stop and pull down the heavens, like Mr. Shelton said. And the teacher said it was so cute, because here was like 40 of these kids in downtown San Jose pulling down the heavens, and it was so powerful.
So amazing. And then the other one, remember Billy, we were doing this class again for another second grade class, and after the class he went up to the teacher and he said, "Miss Coleman, I feel so strange. I feel calm. It's the strangest thing." Second grader.
So for the students it helps, but also for the teachers that are being subjected to so many different things. Bless your heart. We talk about a lot of times with these contracts that we have with the hospital systems about the first responders. Teachers are also part of those first responders as well too.
Absolutely, you're on the front line.
Yeah,
definitely.
So that meditation that we did there, that creative visualization that we did about empowering ourselves and being able to visualize what seeds. Talking about Chicago, one of the most winningest coaches in all of history, Phil Jackson from Chicago Bulls and the LA Lakers, had 13 rings?
I think 11.
11
I mean, that's a lot.
Championship rings to his record or to his credit, and he contributed his success to having his players do mindfulness practices on the basketball court. He'd have them visualize how they felt before the game, how good they felt during the game, and how good they felt after the game. And I actually had the privilege of listening to Phil Jackson speak at the conference in San Francisco.
Wisdom 2.0.
At the Wisdom 2.0 conference in San Francisco. And it was quite empowering, just the power of the mind. And we have a saying in Qigong that the imagination leads the mind and the mind leads the smooth flow of the Qi. And so professional athletes do this a lot. They do. In fact, I just wrote an article that will be published here for our publicist. And one of the things that I talked about is the power of the mindset. So we have a saying that the imagination leads the mind and the mind leads the smooth flow of the Qi. And so in this case here, you know, being able to visualize what it is, what seeds can we plant today in order to become the best version of ourselves. You know, and one of my favorite philosophers, if you want to call him a philosopher, is Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn has written and has spoken about many different things on what it takes to have a strong character, on financial independence. And one of the things that captured me that he said, there's many things, many quotes that he said. He goes, the same wind blows on us all. The wind of disaster, the wind of opportunity, the wind of change. And it's the blowing of the wind. It's not the blowing of the wind, but
Therefore, it is not the blowing of the wind.
Therefore, it's not the blowing of the wind. So you have blowing of the wind of disaster, of opportunity and change. It is not the blowing of the wind, but the direction of the sail that determines what goes on in our life.
The direction of our life. Wow. And as you said that, I literally got goosebumps.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing, is that the Qi Club and Qigong can actually help us set our sail into a positive direction that you want to bring your life towards, and through.
Yeah, and one other thing that Jim Rohn said in one of his live talks, he said, you know, he heard Neil Armstrong talking about going to the moon. And he said that Neil Armstrong said, you know, in this speech, he said, you know, when you're going to the moon, there's only two things that you have to figure out.
Okay.
One is how to get there.
Okay, that's important.
And two is how to get back.
Let's bring him back, baby.
And he's like, and once you figure that out, you know, then it's pretty simple from there. And I'm sure there's a lot more to it
Course
than
correction
that.
in between.
So anyway, Neil Armstrong said, he goes, but even though on the launching pad we had our dials and our gauges set for the moon, even though we had it set for the moon, after liftoff, there was all kinds of unexpected circumstances, gravitational pull, solar winds, and so
meteors.
I
mean, you're in space.
So he would say that, you know, sometimes you have to make minor adjustments along the way, but sometimes you would have to make major adjustments on the way to the moon, because if you didn't make those minor or major adjustments and you missed the moon, you never came back. And so this is an analogy for life as well, too. We sometimes, along our journey in life, yes, we all get off course. I get off course. Parisa gets off course. We have to make minor adjustments sometimes, and sometimes we have to stop and say, wow, I need to make a major adjustment here.
That's true.
Because, again, we don't want to miss the moon and not be able to come back from choices that we've made or circumstances that we put ourselves into.
That's deep.
And so I thought that was a profound comment from Jim Rohn and how he analyzed what Neil Armstrong was saying. So again, like what Parisa was saying is that Qigong and the Qi Club is a great way to help you to make those minor and sometimes major adjustments. We know quite a few people in the Qi Club that have actually recovered from alcoholism during the process.
That's true. During the pandemic, when addiction went up, several of the members in the Qi Club actually was able to get a grasp on their addiction and join recovery.
Enjoyed recovery,
quite
yes.
Amazing, yeah.
So Qigong can definitely be something if you're somebody or if you know somebody who is struggling with addiction, because addiction is a disease.
Yes, of
you
course.
Can't. It's a disease.
And it's a debilitating disease that doesn't get better with time.
Yes, only gets worse with
Yeah,
time. Yes.
so this is a really profound tool to help with all sorts of conditions. It's really incredible.
Okay, so why don't we go through a little
Qi flow
real quickly
Okay.
here. So once again, if you're brand new to Qigong, I'm going to just talk about the Wuji posture. Wuji posture is the basic posture for practicing Tai Chi and Qigong. And Wuji simply translates as nothingness or emptiness. Okay, we're going to have our feet out about shoulders width apart. Our toes are pointing roughly straight ahead. Our knees are unlocked. We're going to gently tuck that sacrum underneath, and by doing so, presses back the Ming Men, which is the acupuncture point right opposite the belly button. I'm going to gently tuck the chin. By doing so, it pushes up automatically on the crown point at the top of the head. So now what I'm doing is I'm elongating my cervical spine, my thoracic spine, and my lumbar. Tip of the tongue gently curls to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth as if saying the letter N. The breath is long, steady, even, and deep. And then from here, we're going to begin by pulling down the heavens 3 times. And as you exhale, just allow for your mind to settle. Inhale. And exhaling. And inhale. And exhaling, just calming your mind, settling your body. First Qigong practice, clearing practice, is tossing the stone. We're going to bring the arms up, inhale, and then exhale. What you want to do is you want to slightly gaze to the fingertips. And allow for any excess of thoughts, feelings, or emotions to flow away like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body and down deep into the ground. So any tension in the upper back, neck, or shoulders. So having a soft, unfocused gaze. So once again, any maybe neck or shoulder pain, allow for that to roll off. And then from here, I'm going to slow it down. Coming back to the middle, pulling down the heavens 1 time, inhale. And exhaling. All right, going to the next one.
Step the feet together narrow. We're going to start to lightly bounce on the balls of the feet, closing the eyes or taking that soft, unfocused gaze. And then using this gentle bouncing to clear any tension or tightness, any aches or pains. Just allowing for the blood, the fluids, the qi, the life force energy to flow smoothly and effortlessly like a flowing stream of water. Just noticing the flowing stream of consciousness passing by like clouds in the sky. And then scanning the body from the soles of the feet. Let's walk up from the feet into the ankles. Just moving from the legs into the knees. Moving up the thighs into the hips and the groin. It's feeling the spine from the tip of the tail. Let's move into the lower back. Coming up into the mid-back, that space between the shoulder blades, the upper back. Feel the shoulders and the armpits. Relaxing through the arms, the elbows, the forearms, wrists, hands, and fingers. Bringing your attention to the front of the throat. Feel the back of the neck. Feel your face, ears, back of the head. Then bring your attention to the crown of the head. With your awareness, come 1 inch above your head. Flutter the eyes open. Inhale, grab from the floor below you. Lift the heels up. Rise on the tippy toes. Breathe in. Exhale. Yes, felt that one. Inhale, connecting floor to sky. Breathing in and release. letting go. Oh, one more time. Deep breath in, rising up and release. Whew. Pull down heavens. One time. Inhale. And exhale.
All right, let's go directly into shaking the tree, one of my favorite practices, because like I talked about a couple days ago, we are one of the only animals or mammals on land that does not shake it off when something happens to us. All right, so the next time you get angry or frustrated at something, go into another room, inhaling all the way up, and just let that stuff go. Just like the Taylor Swift song, inhaling all the way up. And
I'm imagining all the kids in Chicago doing this.
Inhaling all the way up. And let's do a couple more, inhaling all the way up. And last one, inhale. And let that stuff go. And then pulling it back one time, inhaling. And exhaling.
And connecting heaven and earth, you might bring your feet out a little bit wider, turn the toes out, knees slightly bent. We're going to reach the arms up above the head like you're swan diving over a big beach ball, rounding down, drop the bottom, lift the chest, rising up, reaching up. And we're going to flex round, feel the blood come to the front of the forehead. Now, depending what's going on with your body, and especially in your low back, will determine how far you go into that forward fold. So if you have a little back pain, maybe just stay right here in a slight bend. And if you feel good today and you want more of a stretch, then you can really kind of dive down deep into that forward stretch and rising up, reaching up. Let's try that 2 more times. Flexing round. Enjoy that stretch. Reaching up, and 1 more time. That's it. Just like that. Point the toes forward like you have little magnets on the palm of the hand that is sweeping, clearing, and cleansing.
All right, going directly into the liver cleansing exercise. So talking about that sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight, this exercise is good for that. So the liver and gallbladder are affected by anger, frustration, rage, and resentment, old anger, and hatred. And in fact, one of the common questions I get is, Chris, I had my gallbladder removed years ago. Would this exercise still benefit? And the answer is yes, because you still have a gallbladder acupuncture meridian that influences many different components of the body, including the spleen, pancreas, and liver.
And also that control center in the brain still exists as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the way to make this into a mindfulness practice is that you focus on something that creates hostility or anger for you. Feel it now. Who is involved? What's involved? And as you inhale, imagine a green cloud filling up into the right side of the body. And then as you exhale, we're just going to allow for that anger to leave like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body and down deep into the ground. The positive virtue that comes forth is the virtue of kindness, creativity. So as I talked about earlier this week, so many diseases that we see, inflammatory diseases that we see in clinic, actually comes back to this liver being out of balance. So if you're somebody that has menstrual issues, clotting, pain, amenorrhea, which is a lack of a period, it comes back to this liver. TMJ, we talked about that, depression, migraines, eye floaters, detached retinas. There's so many, Crohn's disease, there's so many different...
Road rage?
Road rage, yes. So we allow for the kindness to come in. Let's do one more press. And then we're going to inhale, lifting up the right big toe, and then exhaling, and then we're going to push down and out and come in, pulling down the heavens 1 time. As Prisa will guide us into the heart cleansing exercise.
We'll start with the hands just below the navel, tail and chin tuck, and then pivot to one side, press the hands, and look up. Inhale, breathing into that big, beautiful heart. You can even imagine a doorway at the front of the heart, and then open the door to your heart and allow for a flood of love and gratitude, kindness and compassion to fill your heart, to fill your body, to fill your spirit. And if you want to try a little bit more advanced movement, the hand at the top of the press comes to the top of the ball, and we press. Now that hand at the top of the press comes to the top of the ball, unthread, and press. Oh, I just saw, hello, Matt. Welcome, welcome, and press. And inhale through the center, exhale, and press. You can imagine the color red or pink radiating from the center of your heart. Just tuning in, sensing and feeling. Feeling and sensing. Let's try that one more time, each side. And other side. Coming back to the middle. And one time, inhale. And exhale.
All right, now allow your fingers to become like long, hollow straws. Then enter deep into the earth. We're going to make a long inhalation as we bring the fingers together. Find a pivot point on the ceiling. I'm going to shift to my right as I pivot around that pivot point. As I inhale, I'm going to imagine a yellow cloud filling up into the left side of the body where the spleen is located. And the spleen is harmed by the emotions of over-intellectualizing, thinking too much, anxiety. So focusing on something that creates anxiety for you or worry, feel it now, what's involved. As you inhale in the center, allow for that yellow cloud to fill up into the center. And then as you exhale, allow for that worry to leave like a dark cloud out through the bottom of the feet and down deep into the ground. Now, if our arms get tired here, shoulders, which is common, then we could go ahead and twist. And what I'm doing here is I'm also twisting my forearm too. So see how the palm twists up? I'm twisting, kind of like I'm wringing out that spleen. That spleen is a pretty good sized organ. It's about the size of a small grapefruit located on the left side of the body. And in Chinese medicine, it has a lot of functions. A lot more than what's recognized in Western science. But nowadays, what's interesting is the medical papers that I'm reading are now saying that, wow, all those years that we were taking out the spleen of people, we should not have been doing this, because now they're starting to see the ramifications of that. So the spleen has so many functions: production of blood, recycling blood cells, holding organs in place, transforming food and fluid into blood.
Can you talk a little bit about holding organs in place? What does that mean?
Well, one of the functions of our spleen is to hold things. So it holds the blood within the blood vessels. It also holds the organs into place. So we talk about prolapses, when the organs fall out of place or fall out, like for example, your anus could fall out, your uterus, which they do a full hysterectomy. And what we've seen in clinic is that we change the diet according to foods that benefit the spleen and pancreas. And we give them these Qigong practices, and guess what? The uterus will go back into place. So if you have somebody who has a prolapse of the bladder, maybe you have a leaky bladder, maybe you had a baby and now all of a sudden you have a leaky bladder, and that's a common thing that happens a lot, then this would be a great practice to do to help to strengthen the spleen. And actually, if you go online, if you want to know what foods to eat for what we describe as spleen qi deficiency, there's actually dietary lists that you could find of foods to eat and then foods that are contraindicated.
Foods to eat, foods not to eat.
Yes, and so as we bring the worry out, we allow for the positive virtue of centeredness and peace of mind to come in. All right, let's do one more twist here. And then let's bring it back to the middle, pulling down the heavens one time. Inhale. And exhale.
And we'll move into our lung cleansing exercise by floating the arms up about chest height. Expand the arms out wide. Exhale and bring your arms in towards the center. Filling up the lungs with air. Imagine your lungs are like 2 oval balloons. Inhale. Feel the balloons of the lungs expand front, back, left, and right. And as you exhale, feel the lungs empty out, connecting with the emotional component of sadness, disappointment, loss, or grief. Notice the first thing that comes to mind, and as you exhale, as if the sadness, any loss can dissipate and leave the cells and tissues of the body. And in its place, we draw forth courage and strength. As we boost our tolerance for challenge, we increase our resiliency physically and emotionally. You can imagine the color white radiating from the lungs. Feeling your body and your cells growing stronger and stronger. Feel yourself growing brighter and brighter. Let's try that one more time. Expand and empty. Pull into the center. Exhale, push down with the hands. Pull down heavens one time. Deep breath in. And a long breath out.
Okay, as we wrap up here, placing the hand onto the lower kidney, we're going to bend at the waist. Inhaling on the up cycle, exhaling on the down like you're scooping water. As you inhale, imagine a blue cloud filling up into the kidneys. As you exhale, allow for the emotions of fear and shock to leave like a dark cloud out through the bottom of the feet and down deep into the ground. So when we talk about shock, it's surviving a severe illness, abuse, trauma, anything you've seen. So once again, if you're a first responder, a veteran, or if you're somebody who survived a severe illness, let's say you recovered from cancer and you had to go through chemo or radiation, those types of techniques all shock the kidneys and deplete them. So this is a great practice to help to restore the strength of the kidneys, letting go of the fear and shock, bringing forth the virtue of kindness, or gentleness actually, and willpower. Let's do one more cycle here. And we'll come to the top, and then we're going to switch now, going to the opposite direction. Now, if you have lower back problems, it's not necessary to bend that far. So you get a gentle bend at the waist is okay. If you want to stretch your hamstrings more like what Parisa's doing, then you could definitely bend and really scoop that water up, benefiting our water element.
Be like water, my friend.
Okay, and then we're going to bring it back to the middle, pulling down the heavens one time. Inhale. And exhaling. And then just place the hands over the lower dantian, 1 inch below the belly button. And imagine a white mystical pearl that forms underneath the hands as you gently close the eyes. As you exhale, I want you to imagine the light from this white pearl radiating around the waist to the kidneys on the low back. Each time you inhale, the pearl gets brighter and brighter. And then as you exhale, you feel the warmth and the white light radiate around the waist to the kidneys. Again, inhale and exhale. Last breath, inhale. And exhale. And then from there, slowly open up your eyes, shaking out your feet. Okay, how do we feel?
Feeling good, yes. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to the chat real quick.
Okay.
Because there was a good chat. I just saw Deb. She said, morning from Northern California. Just
Morning.
Listening and learning from you both. In the Chi Club and these great mini series is both healing and regenerating.
Oh, thank you, Deb. Yeah,
Yes.
That's the nice thing about the Chi Club is that it really reminds us every, Monday through Thursday, how connected we are to our emotions and our internal organs and into our environment as well.
Yeah. So, and there is one question from Solomon, Chicago.
Hi there.
Where did I go? Okay, wait. Oh, do you offer scholarships to join the club? My family supports 8 people in Morocco right now, and I would need assistance to join, and I want to join.
Okay. Reach out to us afterwards. Reach out to Parisa.
We can offer some support, and thank you for supporting the family in Morocco. What we would do is go to theqigclub.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's a contact form there. Put in your name, remind us that we had this conversation, and we will work something out with you. We'd love to have you join the membership. And actually, as we had mentioned yesterday, starting right now, if you go to theqigclub.com, you can enroll today for 1 week from today until next week on Thursday. We're going to keep the enrollment open.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great.
Yeah, and it's a very fair price. So the price for enrollment is only $36 a month or $360 for the whole year.
Yeah.
And with that, there are no contracts, no long-term contracts, and you can cancel your membership or your subscription at any time, no questions asked.
Yeah, so our public classes when we're teaching live was for 5 classes was $35 a class. This breaks down to about $2 a class.
Yeah, it's really inexpensive.
Yeah, as a means to really give back to yourself, and once again in planting those seeds that we were talking about earlier.
It's so amazing, and I just want to get yay because Javida, did I say that right? Please correct me if I didn't. She said, just join the Chi Club.
Yay!
Woo! Yeah!
Thank you so much.
And I see Jen Bergam, New York.
Hey,
Chi
Jen.
Club is the best.
Yes, and she's also a teacher trainer too, and an actress too.
She's an amazing human all around.
Right, yeah.
Matt Nielsen is asking, is the teacher training still going forth at the end of the month? I see it as a 1-year program along with the books I saw recommended. Do you use Jerry Allen Johnson's Medical Qigong collection too?
Actually, level 1 is only 13 weeks, and that 13 weeks is interactive. And no, this is the level 1 teacher training, and the level 2, which is 17 weeks, is the foundation to take the medical course. And in my medical course, we will not be using Jerry Allen Johnson's book. We are using other clinical textbooks for the medical book, or I'm sorry, for the medical course, which is separate from the Qigong teacher training. And as I talked about yesterday, a lot of people that take, even though a lot of people want to teach, majority of the people we saw throughout or found throughout the years actually will take the teacher training because the 13 weeks forces you to dive. It's a deep dive. It forces you to really dive in deep and peel away the layers. Correct?
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say it's about 50-50.
Approximately.
But also the other thing is some people take it, like Trish, going back to Trish Fay, we had mentioned her earlier. She took the course because she wanted to dive deep, and then she realized, wow, I can actually not only help myself, but I can help other people.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Peachy Pie. Many thanks to you.
Yeah, thank you.
James Murphy.
Hey, James.
I'm finding a lot of negative emotions leaving and flow returning. Beautiful. One strange thing is I kept burping during and after the exercises. What might this be an indication of?
Oh, very good question, James. So yeah, so things are clearing. And the sign that you're burping like that means that things are moving through. A lot of times when we have belching and those types of issues in the digestion, that means something's clearing from the liver. That's like when we see people that will start practicing Qigong and start yawning a lot, or they'll sign up for the Qi Club and then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes before they log into the Qi Club, they'll start yawning. Well, it's because something is clearing from the heart.
Oh.
Yeah, something's clearing from the heart.
Not because they're tired.
Not necessarily because they're tired, yeah, right. And so, so listening, that's one of the things that's great about Qigong is that it will teach you how to listen to your body at a deeper level and recognizing subtle little things like maybe belching or yawning more, or as I talked about earlier or yesterday about like with my one friend who developed chronic hiccups.
Right. Or what about flatulence?
Same thing. It's all that stuff, yeah. Okay. Or nerve pain inside the body, yes.
Okay, Jen Burgum, she said, you guys are amazing. Seriously, if anyone is debating joining, just jump in and do it. You will not regret it. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. Yes, we make the Chi Club a lot of fun. You know, we actually start off, thanks to my friend in Hollywood here, Eric the trainer, Eric Fleischman. He's a Hollywood physique expert. He actually gave us a couple puppets a few years ago. We start off the class with a couple of puppets. Why? Because we want to laugh. We want to have fun. Yeah, we want to have fun. And even though we take the practices of Qigong seriously as far as improving our health, we also are very lighthearted in the structure of the class.
Yes.
Throughout the class too, people do chime in and on the chat, and we'll ask questions.
Ask questions, and we answer questions live. We'll adjust. Sometimes we'll adjust the exercises depending on what's going on with the group that day. So it's really a great inclusive community of like-minded individuals.
Yeah. So is there any other comments?
There's another question from Matt. He's saying, can you expect healing results from taking the first 13 weeks level 1 Qigong teacher training?
I would say yes, because what happens is that the way that the structure, we call it the most comprehensive Qigong teacher training course out there. Because again, I'm not just teaching you Qigong because it feels good. I'm teaching you Qigong because of what it does medicinally inside the body. But physically, mentally, emotionally, and then regardless of your religious or spiritual background, it helps you to develop more consciously as well too. So you can't help but to unfold and unravel as you dive deeper within the practices. And we talk about that a lot because there is a live forum with the group. So you get to be a part of this group of like-minded people that are going through this journey with you. And as things purge and cleanse out for you, how that may show up for you. So I would say yes, that 13 weeks is going to create positive change in your life.
And then there's the weekend workshop component, which is always incredible.
Yes, and the weekend workshop is live in person, or if you can't, if you live outside the country or outside of California, you can join us on Zoom. Yes, and we make it as though you're actually in the room with the rest of the students. So
I had 2 more questions here from before. Okay, this was from Cynthia.
Oh, hi,
yesterday.
Cynthia. Okay.
Is itching in random locations when practicing, is it energy moving or releasing? Should I scratch the itch or should I let the itch continue? What are your thoughts and feelings on this?
So a lot of times itching, because we have these acupuncture vessels inside the body, but what we have also what is referred to as collateral channels in the body. So as you start to increase these practices of Qigong and maybe even some of the meditations of Qigong, like we finished off with the White Pearl meditation, there's a whole number of meditations that we teach. That itchiness is actually the Qi moving into some of those smaller collateral channels.
Wow.
So we try to say, if you can, possibly try not to itch it. And I believe in some yoga practices, they say not to itch it as well, too.
Yeah,
right?
There's a few school of thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, if it's driving you crazy, you're going to have to itch it. But if you can work through it, then we recommend that you work through it. But the reality is that itchiness is part of the energy moving through these smaller collaterals.
Interesting. And actually, one of our instructors, Kiski, what she said is that if I have the itch, I'll scratch it one time, allow myself one scratch. And then if it comes back, then I leave it alone because then I know it's my mind trying to distract me from being in the moment.
And Kiski is an amazing human because she teaches yoga for 12-step recovery.
She has several books out.
She has several books. She's amazing.
Okay. How does one know if the Qi is working?
How does one know? Well, obviously, what you should start to notice if you have any kind of health problems, and health problems, for example, could be something like constipation. You know, there's so many people that live with constipation and think that it's normal. No. It's not. Or maybe you have sleep disorders, or let's say you do have menstrual irregularities. You know, then, you know, when those things start to change, that's how you tell your progress. Or it could be something as simple as maybe you notice that things that used to be triggers for you are no longer emotional triggers. Yeah, so you may notice you have more energy. You may notice that any chronic pain or illnesses that you had start to dissipate. Mental, emotional things like depression or anxiety start to dissipate. Years ago, I used to have OCD. I talked about this, I think, on Monday or Tuesday.
You did, yeah.
And after about a year of practicing Qigong, my OCD went away. So
it's a miracle.
Yeah, so it wasn't by accident.
It's the Qi.
So yeah, you know, so this is the time to take advantage, to plant those seeds. Join us for the Chi Club. Please share this with other people, because right now in this time and space reality that we're living in, there's a lot of suffering going on in the world. And how can we help people that are suffering? First of all, we have to help ourselves. And maybe we are the ones that are suffering. And Qigong is a simple way to help transform that suffering into light. And it's like a vibration. You increase your vibration then radiates out to the rest of the world. And this is, in this time and space, you know, we need more and more practices to where we focus on the inside.
Wow.
Learn how to love ourselves, learn how to love our neighbor, develop an attitude of tolerance, a tolerance, non-judgment. And this kind of mindset then helps to change the vibration. If you're stuck in fear, if you're stuck in shock, if you're stuck in anger or resentment because you don't agree with something that's going on out there, that only further perpetuates more of that angry type of energy, or more of that fear or stuck kind of energy. Again, I can't emphasize enough how Qigong actually helps to break those cycles. And it may not be overnight, and everybody's different. So there's no way.
You have to invest the time.
I have to invest the time. And everybody is different. There's no way to say, okay, in exactly 90 days, this is where you're going to be. No, everybody is like a snowflake. So we're all individual. We are all different on how these practices affect us, just like how foods affect us, just like how we handle stress in our life. So now's the opportunity to seize the moment.
Carpe diem, seize the day.
Seize the day. Join us for the Chi Club. You won't be disappointed. It's a lot of fun, and really I can't emphasize enough how beneficial it is to your health. And like I said, I think it was Monday, is that Qigong is over 5,000 years old. And anything that's fake
will go away
by itself, because
it has withstood the test of time.
Yes, and it's gaining more momentum, and more, like I was saying on Monday or Tuesday, more and more articles are being written, like Harvard Medical School is talking about the increase in gray matter, Stanford, you know, there's so many different schools of medicine that are now talking about the benefits of Qigong. Originally it was Tai Chi, which is really good for you as well too.
Which is a moving form of Qigong. And we do cover a little bit of that in the Chi Club. Yes,
but the Qigong is actually much easier to learn, and anybody could practice it.
If you have a body, this is for you.
All right, so thank you so much once again for joining us this week. Tomorrow we're going to be releasing some of the testimonials from people who have
we're going to drip it out.
Changed the processes of disease or chronic pain as a result of practicing Qigong, joining the Chi Club, the benefits that they've received, as well as like what Jen Burgum was saying, just the benefits that was received from taking the teacher training course as well too. And once again, we really, and we're not being biased here, it's really the most comprehensive Qigong teacher training course out there. It's very in depth. You will walk away with a wealth of knowledge that you could then share with other people. So
absolutely. So how do you spell love?
How do we spell love?
Like this.
L-O-V-E. Love. And we will chi you later. Bye. Everybody have a blessed day. Please join us.
We love you.
And please share this and put it into the chat any kind of questions you may have.
And we'll chi you in the Chi Club.
And we'll chi you in the Chi Club.
CMP out.
Out.